What's up, Yo Joy consumers? That was a nickname that you guys kind of gave yourself in the last video. I didn't know what to call you guys. But cutting straight to the chase, still sounds kind of echoey in here. I'm sorry if there's some echo. We're working on it, promise. But I'm not the emphasis for this video. I've got a little special video for you guys. We've got a special guest. Although he's not really a guest, he's kind of like a mainstay for the company.
Yeah.
We've got Brian Farrar. He is our full-time illustrator here at Yojoyco. And he is the guy who drew the Teenage Fighting Food Dudes first comic book.
Yeah.
So this is kind of his first time ever appearing on camera, yeah? For like, since we started working together?
Yeah, pretty much. I
mean, ta-da! Face reveal.
Yeah, hey.
Your name's kind of been up on lights on the channel before. But I don't think we ever got you like actually like on camera, so.
No, we were gonna do it a couple times, but we never got around to it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just gonna do a little interview with Brian, kind of talk to him. And yeah, I just thought this would be like an appropriate video to put up on the Yojoyco channel. So the first thing we should probably start off with is how long have we known each other? Like probably like a couple years now.
Oh man, it's been like 3-4 years now.
4 years? I was thinking like 2 or 3, but you might be right because I always forget how long I've been doing YouTube, and it always feels like I just got started, but. Really, it's been kind of like a while.
Yeah.
So, I remember I got in contact with Brian when I wanted like some like Chadtronic art for like the main Chadtronic channel. I came across his artwork on like Twitter or whatever, and it like looked really good. And so the Chadtronic face that you guys see, even today on the channel, was drawn by Brian. So yeah. He is the Chadtronic face creator. I guess we could say that picture is kind of more famous than Food Dudes probably so far.
Yeah, probably right now.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
Food Dudes is getting
Fingers
there.
Fingers crossed we'll get there.
Food Dudes is getting there. But so, yeah, he drew a lot of the artwork. I don't know if you guys remember like a long time ago, I did like Let's Play stuff on my second channel. I had like a lot of like thumbnail art made for that. You did that.
Yeah, I remember that now.
The old intro for Chadtronic Games, that was made by Brian.
Yeah, that the green logo.
Yeah, you've done like a lot of little random stuff here and there, but
so I did your Charizard.
Yeah, the Chadtronic Pokemon artwork, the main banner, icon. That was all made by Brian. Anyway, I feel like we're getting hung up probably in too many details. But yeah, so I worked with Brian to kind of like get all that started, and that's kind of how we met. And so my first question is, what did you think of me when the first time you met me? Loaded question for the very first question.
Yeah, really. Like no pressure. I mean, I didn't think like anything weird. I was just your normal guy who makes YouTube videos. I didn't think it was anything weird. I actually had not heard of you until you contacted me. Yeah. No, like I guess I don't really explore on YouTube.
There are a lot of YouTubers on YouTube.
Yeah,
I take zero offense. Seriously, like everyone I work with, I just assume they have like no idea who I am.
Well, I had never watched reaction channels up until I saw your channel.
Well, nobody, because reaction videos suck.
Yeah.
Generally, unless they're made by me.
Sure.
And some other select few YouTubers.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, you kind of just got to know me through starting and working with me.
Yeah, and that was when I really started working for myself when I first started.
Let's talk about that. So, when would you say it was when you started doing like your artwork full time? Like,
when I started actually like running making artwork for like as a business. I would say that was. I think it started in, I'm terrible at time, like dates, but I think it was 2008 or
2008?
Yeah, it was like shortly after I graduated college.
So like 10 years.
Yeah, it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
Now. Yeah.
How's it feel?
I mean, it feels good because I feel like it's like kind of like evolving into more and more.
Well,
like,
yeah, it's obviously where you belong.
Yeah.
Because like, I couldn't see you doing anything else. Like, you need to be in this field. even if you don't work for me for like forever, like this is obviously the work that like you need to do.
Yeah, I
like,
mean, I love doing it too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely started, I think it's 2008, and then I just started doing random commission work. And then YouTubers started contacting me.
I was gonna say, yeah, you kind of really got into the full-time work. Well, I think it's pretty obvious. Like you started working with YouTubers and stuff like that. What was some of the work that you did before doing any work for YouTubers? Was it like logos for like what companies or something?
I did graphic design stuff. I did logos. I did some small illustration work. Just people had requests for like, I don't know, like random characters. A couple of buddies of mine did try to do game dev stuff. Mm-hmm. And I did all the artwork for one of those games. We were doing mobile games for a while. That's what it was. Before I started doing YouTuber stuff, I did work on a couple indie games, like mobile games.
I kind of want to take like a couple steps back, and I know you kind of talked about it in like the biography section in the Food Dudes comic book, but like, when was it that you first started like actually drawing and knew that you like really enjoyed doing it? When was that? I imagine you were like really young.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When did I first decide that I was like, that's what I wanted to do is draw?
Yeah. Like when did it start to like actually pick up?
I mean, I initially just started drawing when I was like 6 or 7 years old. And yeah, like I said in the Food Dudes book, I started drawing like game characters out of back when games had manuals for all you kids. Yeah, I started drawing like Sonic the Hedgehog out of the game manuals and other stuff like that. But like, yeah, I think I started taking it more seriously in middle school. That's when I started like always carrying art supplies with me and just really like trying to get better at it. And then high school, I started a webcomic, and I did that for about 2 years.
I remember you showed me some of those.
Yeah,
it's pretty impressive. How old were you? You're in high school, so like what, 16, 17?
I think I was like, 16.
Yeah. We can kind of fast forward now. What, we were just talking about this last night, coincidentally, but initially, I don't know if you're going to answer, like, honestly, and I asked you, but like, what did you think of the Teenage Fighting Food Dudes when it like first was like pitched to you from me?
You know, I didn't know what to think at first. Like,
I mean, I'm gonna be real. Like, even I thought it was like pretty stupid and silly concept.
I didn't think that it wasn't gonna work, but it was just so different from what I'm used to drawing.
Yeah.
That like I was just kind of like, is this gonna be good? Like, I don't know. But when you said that you wanted to capture like the whole '90s vibe and that whole thing, I thought about it, and like, you know, Street Sharks, Turtles, Biker Mice, all those like weird mutant characters from the 90s were a big hit.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, and like they worked. People loved them no matter how weird they were.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, we can give this a shot. That's, you know, it's just fine. And it did take me a little while to warm up to the characters as I drew them, but now I love them. Like, I enjoy, like, I get excited to work on them. So.
Yeah, we've drawn them like 1,000 times now.
Yeah.
Yeah, things change when you have to draw something like 1,000 times.
Now I'm invested.
Yeah, you get a little bit more invested in it. But yeah, I know like before, like I know you've drawn like superhero type stuff, but like normally before that, I think you did a lot of like video game art, a lot of medieval fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, I would draw anything from like superheroes to like fantasy medieval characters with armor and stuff like that.
Yeah. So this was so when you like switched over to something like, I mean, Food Dudes are like kind of superheroes, but they're definitely not your like traditional superheroes whatsoever. They're like giant men, vegetable men. We could talk about the game a little bit. Well, instead of me just explaining, what have you been doing for the game?
What have I been doing for the game?
Yeah. Which I don't know if you guys can see. I think I've been blocking it, but
man,
we got a model of Turbo. here in Blender.
Yeah,
So-
if you guys follow me on Twitch or Twitter, you've probably seen it. So yeah, I am doing all the concept art for everything in the game, whether it's the level design. I've been drawing like their profiles to get set up for modeling, which is basically the front and side view of the character. And then obviously the modeling. So I'm modeling the characters, and then we'll be modeling the levels and all that stuff too.
So Brian's like super involved in like the creative aspect of making the game, and I'm glad he's working on the game too, because I mean, this guy is the same guy who drew the characters for the comic book, conceptualized them. So I don't think anybody can do the characters like the most justice and making them the most accurate. I couldn't get anyone better, like, because you're like the guy. So, which I guess I've never like openly said. I know like some people have asked like who does what. Did you like people have asked me like did you just like make the whole thing after Chad just told you about it a little bit? But there are like some steps to like making the comic book. So like basically I come up with a script, then I storyboard it, and then my storyboard are terrible, super awful drawings that then Brian takes and make them look much better.
I think if we ever release
spice it up.
I think if we ever release like a how it was made book thing, we'll have to include some of your original thumbnails.
Yeah, we'll have to see like the Chadtronic version of Food Dudes on like Stickmen and stuff like that. I can draw like to like a certain degree. I mean, I didn't put like a lot of effort into making the storyboard look like amazing because I knew that like I can't even compete with Brian. Like, he's obviously gonna make it look much better than me. Well, but as long as I get the general idea of like what it's supposed to look like across to you, then that's where you kind of take it from there. And then you sketch it out. You do the line art. You shade it.
I take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, everything else you see on the page. I mean, that's basically all Brian.
Well, except for the wording and the bubbles.
Oh yeah, I do the dialogue. What would you say has been like the biggest challenge for you as like a freelance illustrator, and how have you chose to like overcome whatever that challenge is?
I guess it's a reoccurring challenge, but like. Really, it's like kind of stepping out of my comfort zone of what I'm familiar with when I draw. Like, I've drawn a lot of similar things. Like, I'm really familiar with drawing just characters. And I love conceptualizing characters and just drawing characters and doing that kind of stuff. But when it pertains to, like, doing environments or just backgrounds in general, that's usually more of a challenge. It's not as much as it used to be, obviously. But, for example, that's like one major thing that's like every time I do it, I have to do a lot of research. I always look at references. And it's just like I had to get in that mindset that it's okay to look at references. Because I've heard both sides of the fence where it's like some people are like, oh yeah, do whatever you can to, make things better. But then other people are like, oh, it's cheating if you use references or like, whatever.
It's really hard to like just pull what something is supposed to exactly look like just from your mind and like nothing else. Like you're not even allowed to look at like a person making a pose. Like,
well, and if you talk to anybody and any professional in the industry, they still use references.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. That's like a super common thing. So I guess we can like get close to wrapping up. One thing I definitely wanted to ask you was, what advice do you have for other artists in either the digital realm of art, physical realm of art? What advice would you have to just give other aspiring artists?
Well, it's usually the same advice I always have, especially for people in my streams who watch and ask me that. It's a couple of things that really make you improve. One is muscle memory, and you get that like your hand muscle memory, and that's usually just by drawing every day. It doesn't matter what you're drawing, if it's good or not. If you're practicing, using your hand muscles or arm muscles or whatever to draw with, you will get better at like handling the tool that you're using. And then another thing is like just learning new techniques, trying new things. Like I've learned so much just from looking at art books and watching tutorials online. It's crazy. Like I know this is going on YouTube, but YouTube itself and just videos online, how easily accessible they are a huge like.
Oh, it's a great resource.
Yeah, it's a great resource for anybody. And so even like students growing up today have way more of an advantage than people who, before like the internet was around. And it's just, so like really it's just like you need to stay in practice. Cause like I know when I take like a couple days off or like I won't draw for a week because I'm not feeling it, I come back to it and it feels like I'm almost starting over. And then just like looking at techniques, seeing how other people do things, and I mean it will improve definitely.
Practice makes perfect.
And yeah, they're not kidding.
Yeah, and so and then don't be afraid to try new things, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course some other stuff that he said, but yeah, but no, that's a really good answer. And yeah, you were talking about as we can close here, you're talking about your Twitch streams. You can watch Brian do his artwork on twitch.tv/ArtBlaster.
Yeah, one word.
ArtBlaster's one word.
Yeah.
All right, I'll probably put it like in the description of the video. You guys can check it out. Go follow him on Twitch. You're also on Twitter. I'll put your Twitter in the description of the video. Is there anything else you want to plug, or?
I mean, that's about it. I do upload to YouTube, but it's not as frequent as say your channel.
Yeah, we'll put that. We'll put his YouTube link in the description as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you do still do commissions, right?
Yeah.
So hit him up for a commission. Reasonable requests only. No hentai, please. But no, he's available for some side work, certainly. So just keep it tame, guys. Keep it tame, internet. But this was a great little interview. Thanks, Brian, for taking a couple minutes and doing this. And I thought it was a little fun little video we could put up on the Ojoiko channel. Make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Hit like on this video and go check out Brian on his other social media that we just mentioned. So thanks guys for watching, and we'll catch you later.
See ya.